Put your hands together for Old Men and Sweat. Old Men and Sweat. Put your hands together, y'all. Barry D, Tommy T. We gonna have a good time tonight. Let's go, let's go. It's Old Men and Sweat.
Yo, everybody, we are Old Men and Sweats. I'm Barry D, and this is my buddy Tommy T, and this is our program on the Believe Network. Hashtag do you believe? Hashtag we believe. Hashtag you should believe in the Old Men and Sweats. So listen, watch us, follow us, subscribe to us. So T, you got to believe now. I mean, we're believers. We're believe. I'm a believing.
I like the way they spelled it too. Like it's one. They spell believe with one syllable.
That's good. That's good. But we appreciate being on Believe. We're excited to be on Believe Network. And okay, so T, let's get right into the sweaty hit list. But first, before we do that, because I haven't seen you in a while, because I've been in New York taking care of stuff, and I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on? Are you done with your heart monitor?
Yeah, the heart's good, buddy. The heart thing was that's all. I had to wear that monitor in the summer. I had to have all the plugs on my chest for a week straight, like 24 hours a day. The only time you take the monitor off is when you shower. So I had to have it on the whole time, and it was nothing came of it. He said my heart's good and everything, but it was hard though because it was 110 degrees. So you wear it around during the day, and those things, they slide all over the place. They end up down at your. They'll slide off the chest. Those sticky things, they slide off the chest and they're down in your waist.
So who knows if they even got a good reading?
Well, but you wear it for 24 hours. So you wear it when you sleep, you wear it all the time. So yeah, they got to read, like they had to get a read, but everything's good. The only problem now is, I do all those boot camps, those crazy like core, crazy boot camps. And I pulled or strained my adductor muscle. And adductor is a weird, it's not abductor. There's no B in that word. It's ADDUCTOR, adductor. And it's like up in the groin. I couldn't even get out of bed. Like this adductor was killing me. I did a boot camp. I felt great. Like the next day it started to be a little sore. The second day I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't sit up. I said, oh my God, I must have tore right off the bone. And so then I limped around for a couple of days and it was killing me. So I went to yoga. Like I went to a yoga class with the bed, like a doctor, and the pain started going away. So like sometimes when you have pain, you just got to keep going,
So where in the groin is it?
Way up in the groin. Like it's way up, like just below the stomach muscle. And it's like, oh my God.
Oh, it's like a really strong band.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, I tried to run across the street and it's pulling. I couldn't even run. I couldn't do nothing, but I got past that. Like I just did the boot camp again yesterday. No problem. I'm okay again. But you know how it is. Like you get these injuries and you're, the first thing you think is, oh, I got to stop. I got to, rest, rehabilitate or whatever it is. But sometimes, if the pain's manageable, you just keep going and then you just get around them, I don't want to be like stationary. Like
you don't want one of those little rascals or those things with the tennis balls on the bottom. You want to be able to walk. And I'll never get a Velcro shoe either. I'll have someone tie my shoelaces before I get the Velcro ones, because the Velcro ones is a sure sign that you can't get around and you can't bend over.
Slip-ons. Right?
Yeah, slip-ons. So okay, so I'm glad you're pretty good. I was worried about your heart thing. The groin thing I'm not too worried about. That's you're going to be fine. You're active, you're good. Me, you got to worry about me. Mostly I got to worry about my indigestion and stuff like that. You got to worry about my system there. Everything else, I'm as good as it goes. So look that was a good health check. I don't even know if we really needed it because we might be healthier than some young kids.
No, we're good. I'm happy. We're good.
I think that was more for Believe, just like as a disclaimer that we won't croak like within like a couple shows. It's just like, it was like a lawyer disclaimer that these guys even able to do one show, let alone a whole series. So, okay. So look, I want to go to a real quick thing because I got to get your blood flowing, and I want to go to like a hot topic, just quick 6 things I'll say the name, and then you just give me what you're thinking, just to get some energy going here, because the sub's weighing me down. So okay. Well, DAMAR HAMLIN, go. DAMAR HAMLIN.
I think the whole country, the whole football community, fans, players, coaches, everyone involved, it just breathed a big sigh of relief. The guy's going to be okay. I mean, we thought that he was going to be paralyzed or be, incapacitated in some way because he was basically, unconscious on the field, and everyone was scared to death. And then, of course, he ends up in a hospital. No one knows what's going on. But the best part of this story is that medical team and those trainers of the Bills, they saved that guy's life. They reacted so quickly, and that's never happened before. A player's never had gone on a cardiac arrest on the field before. So it wasn't like they had some big training for that. They didn't have any experience with that. They reacted so quickly that they not only saved the kid's life, but it seems like he's going to have a good quality of life. It seems like he's going to have pretty much a normal life, which everyone's got to be relieved for that.
Yeah, thank God. God bless him. I mean, within 10 days, he's back in Buffalo, and I think today he's out of the hospital. So you're right. Those medical people, I always say, the way the medical profession is now and what they can do, it's incredible, and it's good for me and you too. But it's great. That guy, it was scary.
How quickly they got to him, and they recognized the situation he was in, and they just, I don't know, but they just did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
We don't know their names. It's funny. We know Josh Allen, and we know Stephon Diggs, and we know all the players, and they're all great and stars, but we don't know the names of those trainers and those medical personnel that went out there and saved that kid's life. So I think we'll learn their names as the days go by. But that Bills team, those players must know them now. They must, you know what I mean? Like, they must be heroes in that organization.
Yeah, thank God for that. I mean, that was scary, and I know, there were some negative things with it, with people going after the receiver, Higgins, and just some other things, and like it is what. Thank God.
The negative things, buddy, came from these TV personalities and these analysts that have these gigantic egos. They say whatever they want. Bart Scott said something stupid, and Skip Bayless tweeted something stupid, and these guys just say the dumbest things, and they get away with it. And then, of course, it creates all of this controversy, But I mean, we can get to that later. But
we'll get that later.
What Bart Scott said about T. Higgins was completely uncalled for. He made it sound like T. Higgins was somewhat responsible for what happened, and the way he worded it was like T. Higgins was, caused it. That's stupid.
We could say Bart Scott's responsible for a lot of the Jets' failures too.
Yeah, Bart Scott ain't nothing. Like,
come on, right? All right, next one up. Tua.
Yeah,
a lot of these are injury related, but now Tua.
No, buddy, we did a podcast. We did a podcast a few years ago at the NFL draft, about Tua's draft and Tua's name. Like, we picked like the first 20 picks. Who we thought who was going to draft who, and Tua's name came up, and I said you can't draft that guy because he played at Alabama. He played at the best team in the nation. And he was tackled maybe 3 or 4 times in his entire career at Alabama. And every time he got hurt. Like, every time he went out. Like, Tua's been injured ever since we heard of him. He can't, it's too bad. Like, the concussions are really serious, and he's really going through something. But he can't stay on the field. He's had bad hits, and he's had little hits. And every time he's gone out. So I don't know how Miami's going to extend him. There's no way they can give him that contract that Lamar Jackson's trying to get, or the one that Russell Wilson just got, or the one that Dak Prescott got. They can't pay him no $250 million. Are you crazy?
He hasn't played enough, and unfortunately, a lot of this is concussion related too. But regardless of that, I mean, he hasn't shown enough yet. Like, it's so amazing what little you need to show to get. Like in the NFL, especially a quarterback, like an unbelievable contract.
But that only relates to a quarterback. The quarterback.
Exactly.
I'm so desperate for quarterbacks because I've been telling you for years, there's only 15 good quarterbacks in the entire world. There's not 32 quarterbacks to go around. Even in college right now, you got Bryce Young, you got C.J. Stroud. I mean, who else is coming out of college that's going to be a good quarterback? You don't even know if those guys are going to be any good. There's not enough quarterbacks to go around. So when someone like Tua does come and they grab him, and and then he plays a little bit. He's played well. When he plays well. He's got those great wide receivers. Everybody says, "Oh my God, we got a quarterback." No, you don't. There's only like a dozen of them right now. You look at the NFL. You go down the list. After 10 or 11, do you really want Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott? You really want those guys? No.
They haven't had a quarterback since number 13. At the end of the day.
You don't want Tua, you don't want Dak, you don't want Cousins, you don't want Garoppolo. Nobody wants those guys.
No.
There's no other quarterbacks to go around.
All right, so ready? Next. Let's move on. Next one. It's going to be another one. I mean, it's like an injury theme here as far as the hot topics today. Sleepy Lamar Jackson. I like what's going on here. Is he just sitting out? What's happening?
No, he's not playing any games. Like, that guy's not playing games. He's hurt. He's hurt.
Okay.
He can't play.
All right.
Also, he's got a bad knee. It's not like a terrible injury, but it is a bad enough injury where he doesn't have his mobility, and he's got a PCL strain. And strain is code word for. I mean, no, the technical term for strain is that there's a partial tear in the ligament. That's what strain means. So if they say he's got a PCL strain, he's got a grade 2 PCL strain that's on a borderline of grade 3, right? It's close to being a grade 3 PCL strain. So it doesn't require surgery, but he's got a partial tear of the PCL ligament, which isn't as serious as the ACL because it's the posterior one, but he's not healthy. And that, again, that's what happens when you got a running quarterback. There's no big surprise. He's hurt all the time now.
So he's got two ligaments? The PCL and
the PCL and the ACL, they crisscross.
Yeah, both of those are sprained.
Well, the ACL is the one that stops your knee from hyperextending.
Yeah,
right?
That's the one I tore in my right knee.
PCL is the one that stops your knee from bending too far. That's the one he hurt.
Okay.
Serious is the ACL, which you and I had.
Yeah, but still serious enough for an NFL football player that he can't play.
Well, that's what Ezekiel Elliott went through last year. He partially tore his PCL and it slowed him down. He hasn't regained his quickness. But Lamar can't play right now. He's not healthy. And also he's going through that ridiculous contract negotiation with the Ravens where he's his own agent. I think him and his mother are negotiating.
Yeah, he doesn't have a legit agent guy. It's him and his mom.
He's got his mom, but it's not a bad idea. Like I'd love to have my mom negotiate my contract. Whatever you offer me, it wouldn't be enough.
Well, yeah, even if you had an agent or a manager, having your mom as the bulldog, and then she plays bad cop, it's like, I don't know, what am I supposed to do? It's my mom. That's my mom. So sleepy Lamar Jackson, who I always say just looks like he woke up. Like anytime you see him, it's like he woke up like a minute ago. There's people. The reason I asked you about how serious it was because there's people that are accusing him, like Baltimore Raven fans. I was online reading it that they think maybe he's faking it. Like he's bad, but he's not bad.
Let me tell you something. The only people that are accusing an athlete of faking it are the kinds of people that would fake their own illness and not go to work. That's BS. These guys don't fake injuries. These are the greatest players in the world. You know how hard it is to get to the NFL? You don't fake anything. He's not faking nothing. He's hurt. And a fan that says that doesn't respect players. Like, get rid of that fan.
And he's not playing because it's like if he doesn't play, it doesn't really help him with his contract. It doesn't really hurt him anymore. He already did what he did to go get whatever contract he's going to get. So
Dak Prescott, in his contract year, he got his leg broken and his foot was facing in the opposite direction, and he still got the $175 million. It didn't do anything. They don't care. If they think you're a quarterback, they're going to pay you. That's ridiculous.
All right, next we're gonna switch sports a little. KD just came up hurt. Yeah. Kevin Durant.
Well, of course he came up hurt. He hurt his knee. He hyperextended his knee. So he's got I think he's got an ACL strain. I didn't see the official diagnosis, but he's supposed to miss a month which means that he's going to miss 2 months because they're going to be extra cautious because they're doing so well. They built up such a good record that they can afford to play 500 ball or whatever it may be over the next month. But yeah, they're gonna bring him back right before the playoffs. Now they're gonna use this as an excuse, and they're not gonna bring him back until they have to, because he's always hurt too. Like
because I don't think he's ever been the same since when he was on Gold State. Remember, he hurt his knee and they brought him back too early, and then he tore his Achilles, didn't he?
No, he hurt his ankle and he brought him back.
He hurt the ankle.
Yeah, it was always his ankle.
And so now he's got. Is it the same? Do you know if it's the same leg? Is it the same knee? Because he did have a bad knee.
I don't know. I mean, this one, someone fell into him. Someone just fell into him and hyperextended his leg.
That happens all the time. It's like impossible. So you don't think it's going to be a big deal for them because I mean, the season's so early anyway. Now the NBA season.
No matter what, they were going to find a way to sit him out for a month anyway. Even if he didn't hurt his knee now, at some point during the season, he was going to go down for a month. They're not going to play these guys. AD, LeBron, Anthony Davis, none of these guys are going to play the whole year. They're all going to sit out. Kawhi Leonard, none of them are going to play.
Yeah, well, they do that management thing. They would.
KD was only going to play 60 games max anyway. So this is their way of resting him.
That's a good thing. Okay, last one. I was talking to Eric Raz the other day, our buddy Eric Raz from the neighborhood, and he loves the Mets. He's a big Mets fan, and he was livid about the shortstop, about Carrera, that whole scenario. Like he thought they got him from the Giants. The Giants bailed out, and then the Mets came in. But I guess there is some scenario here with his injury. This guy.
Well, he went from a $350 million contract with the Giants.
Yeah.
To a $320 million contract with the Mets, to a $200 contract with the Twins. I think he went from 13 years the Giants, 12 years with the Mets, to 6 years with the Twins. So he's got a steel plate in his ankle that he injured back when he was in the minor leagues. I think he wasn't even in the majors, and he's never been injured since then. That particular injury has never caused him to miss games in his major league career. He's had other injuries, but for some reason, all of these physicals have brought up these huge red flags on that plate. He's got a plate in his ankle. So that's why what the Mets did was they agreed on the 320. They gave him the physical. They found it, and so their doctors gave the recommendations. Well, the Mets tried to renegotiate, and they probably lowballed the hell out of him.
Oh yeah.
And so Scott Boras, his agent, kept negotiating with other teams. The Twins were always there. They always had their offer there. Yeah. So he ended up getting a better offer with the Twins. But the problem is, baseball's not like football. Football, you got all the games coming up this week. So, you're a Vikings fan, but you're going to watch the Bills game. You're going to watch, you're going to watch the Cowboys Bucks, right? You're going to watch, the Chargers playing the Jags, right? Because we love football, but in baseball it's different. Even in the playoffs, if the Twins are in the playoffs and our team's not in the playoffs, I'm not watching the Twins. No one watches the Twins.
That's really interesting. That's a good analogy because I don't watch if my hockey team's not there, if my hoop team's not there, and baseball, it's weird. It's well, because it's the one and done thing. Football's the one and done, and I think it's still exciting to watch it.
Though, a couple years ago, you and I watched every game of the Phoenix-Milwaukee final, and that wasn't a good final. Milwaukee and Phoenix, wow, who wants to watch those guys? But we watched every game of all 6 games because basketball, we don't want to watch great games. But with baseball, I'm a Dodgers fan. As soon as the Dodgers got eliminated, I don't watch one game. I don't watch one playoff game. I don't watch one game of the World Series. Who was it? The Phillies and the who? Who won it? I don't know who won it. What? Who won it?
That's good. Wait, the Phillies. They beat the Astros. The Astros beat the Phillies.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I don't watch one game. I don't care. That's baseball. That's
a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. You're right, because basketball, I love basketball too, and I guess you're right. Like, I think it's baseball is one of those sports, like, I'll go live and watch it, and hockey's the same way. But if my team's gone, you're right. I'm going to watch football, I'll watch basketball, but I'm not. And my team.
Last year, Golden State played the Celtics in the finals. That was a great final. I hate the Celtics. I hate the Celtics.
Oh, I hate them with passion. We're Laker fans. I mean, we can't stand them.
So, I mean, I was the biggest Golden State fan, you know, like there's baseball. I could care less. But now with the football, you know, the Giants are playing the Vikings, you know, like I want the Giants to win. If the Giants lose to the Vikings, I'm going to watch every playoff game. The playoffs are great.
Okay, so that was good. I know a lot of it was injuries, and we're used to injuries, but I just wanted to touch on those guys, and because we may not touch on them in the other subjects as we go on. But so let's get to the Sunday Sweat Wildcard weekend. It's basically Wildcard Sweat, and let's get into this here. So we got to talk about the Vikings first. My Vikings and the Giants. Your dad's a Giant fan. Your dad loves the Giants. Let's talk about that game because I'm nervous, obviously.
Over the weekend games, that's the best matchup. Really, that's the
really
best matchup. Teams. Well, those two teams played like a month ago, and the Giants lost in Minnesota in a very, very close game. Like Minnesota lucked out in that game, like they did all year long. Minnesota's a weird team. They won 13 games. They won 13-4, right? But when they lose, they look like the Texans. They look like the worst team in football. They look terrible. When they lose,
they get blown out.
I've never seen a team win 13 games and be so bad. So, you know, I mean, they got Justin Jefferson, who's the best receiver in football, but they got nothing else. Like, Delvin Cook is okay now. I don't know what happened to him. They got nothing else. They got Kirk Cousins, who nobody wants. Nobody wants Kirk Cousins as a quarterback. So the Giants come along. Now they got that coach, right? They got that coach. He looks like he grew up. He looks like he grew up like selling like beers at the
but you know the thing about that guy? He looks like he's blue collar, but he went to University of Rochester for economics. He's a yellow jacket. University of Rochester, he's a smart guy, went there for economics. To go to U of R, you got to have a scholarship. If you're smart or your parents got to have money. He's a little deceiving. Like, you know, I think that Wink Martindale is a little more of a blue collar than that guy.
He's deceiving, buddy. That's a great point. I didn't know he went to U of R. That's a great point.
Yeah, he's smart.
He's on the sidelines. The last game of the year, they blew out. The second to the last game of the year, they blew somebody out. Oh, they blew out the Colts. Yeah. They were winning like 21-3 at the half, right? With a couple minutes to go in the half. And they fumbled. Like they were up 21-3 and they fumbled. And he was on the sidelines and they showed him and he said, you can read his lips, he would like he was like, what the he kept saying, what was that? Like you could see him. What the F was that? Like he's that coach. He's that coach where he does not accept anybody messing up with stupid errors. He's going to jump down your throat. He's going to demand that you play to a standard, and that team is different. They're just different now.
So what's your dad think of their chances this weekend?
Well, my dad was super skeptical of them like all off season. I was telling him, no, man, if they get a couple lucky breaks, they could be okay. And what I mean by lucky breaks is they've always had like major injuries with the quarterback and the running back, right? And so, but they got a couple lucky breaks, but they still had tons of injuries. But my dad didn't believe in that coach. But halfway through the year, he's like, man, I haven't seen a coach like this in 30 years here. Like he said,
I got to say something about the Vikings. I agree with you that they're wishy-washy. Like it's interesting. Like they had a lot of luck this year. You know, they never had luck in the Super Bowls. And their team is deceiving. Their defense is really bad. But I think a lot of that is the coach. Everybody's asking for Donatello's head. They don't like him. He plays that soft zone. But I heard they're making changes now, and they're start pressing up a bit. They are actually blitzing a little bit here and there. I got to tell you something. Zimmer was a better defensive coach. He wasn't a great head coach, but he ran that defense a little bit better than this guy. But this is the thing about the Vikings.
Yeah, because Zimmer had great players. I mean, they
not real.
They had Xavier Rhodes, they had Anthony Barr, they had Kendricks, they had Everson Griffin. They had all these great players. Of course, he played better.
But their defense isn't bad. They got the Kendrick still, and they got Hunter, and they got Smith from Green Bay who came over. They still got Harrison Smith, the hitman. They got Patrick Peterson, even though he's 80 years old. You know, he can talk and get a good game, Patrick Peterson. What's that? Yeah, but it's not about the D. It's not about the D. I think they've come to I think they realized in the beginning the reason they played that soft zone defense is they're like, okay, get the yards, get the yards, get the yards. Their whole philosophy was sooner or later you're going to make a mistake, a penalty, or something, and you're not going to get nothing, or maybe you'll get a long field goal. And they are confident. I think this is the thing. They're confident that if you want to get a shootout with them, go ahead. And I think soon they're that's what they do. And then they get down near the end and they drive it down and get a touchdown, or drive it down and get a field goal against the Giants. That guy kicked a 61-yarder. Now look, I don't know if he didn't make that, would they have won in overtime? Maybe. But the thing that I don't like is this. They're 13-4. I don't care how they got there. I don't care if they rubbed two sticks together to get there. Like everybody on NFL Network and all these places, they're not even talking about them. It's amazing. They're talking about Danny Dimes, talking about Barkley, talking about the Giants. They already wrote the Vikings off. Even though the Vikings beat them like a month ago, they already wrote the Vikings off. It's like, I don't understand.
You know why? On NFL Network, the reason they're not talking about the Vikings is because of Cousins. Because of Cousins. No one thinks he's any good. He's not going to do it. He's the same as the guy in Dallas. Like, the Cowboys are not a bad team. They got talent. But that quarterback isn't going to do it. And I think now, you know, these experts, they're basically just picking the quarterbacks.
Yeah, but Danny Dimes is way better than Kirk Cousins. I mean, it's like he's come on, he's not. Jones is not much better, if better at all. And Cousins has got more weapons. He's got Osborne, and Thielen still can come up with a thing. And he's got TJ at the one of the best tight ends, right behind Kelsey. That freaking guy's got to be second tight end. And Madison comes in for Cook. I think their offense is really, really good. I think people think they're good. It's that defense, and then people always think Cousins is going to screw up. But this year, Cousins hasn't been screwing up, really. He's come through.
Oh, against Green Bay, he was awful.
It was
like 8 times.
But that's the Packers in Green Bay. The Vikings were bound to lose one of the games against them.
The Vikings are a weird team because if you stop Justin Jefferson, which the Cowboys did, the Packers did, the Lions did, the Giants, if you stop Justin Jefferson, they got no shot. Like they scored 3 points against the Cowboys because he caught 3 passes. Like, yeah, but him down. So that's the thing. Like, the Giants are getting healthy defensively. They're getting a Dory Jackson back, right? They have McKinney coming back. So if they double Justin Jefferson and take him out of the game, or just let him catch 5 or 6 passes that are like inconsequential, right? They'll beat them because the Vikings, their offense is so geared around him. I mean, they do have other players. Osborne's good. Thielen's still good. They do have other players. But when you take Jefferson out of that lineup, they got no bite. They're a rattlesnake with no fangs.
Yeah, but I think that's easier said than done. I know some teams did it.
You're right.
I don't know. The Giants didn't do it. They did it to an extent. He still scored a TD. We're going to see. I don't know. Like, I still think – I know their defense is really weak, and I know all the people with stats are like, you know, they got that negative point differential and all this. I'm not saying their defense is good by any means, but there's a lot of teams in the NFC. It's like their defense is like the 49ers got a real good D. Tampa, Dallas, I guess Philly's got an okay D. There's suspect Ds around the league, and I think – you know, you better be on your A game against Jefferson. And if they get him started like early on little short routes and stuff and some screens, you know, they may just matriculate it down the field 2 or 3 times and keep the ball away and win it.
They're home. They're home. So
they're home.
What is that?
Yeah, the horn, the big horn. Yeah. I mean, I just think, I know I'm a Viking fan, but I still get upset. Like, I was watching all the shows and all the networks. I'm like, are you going to talk about the Viking Giant game? And then sure enough, sooner or later, that NFL Network, They talk about it. They got mooch on it, and then they finally start talking. They're talking about Danny Dimes, and they're like falling in love with the Giants, like it's like Eli Manning, like it's Eli Manning back in the day. I'm like, wait a minute, these guys are what, 8? What were they, 9-5-1?
No,
what are they? No, 9-6. What are they, 9-6 and
9-7-1?
9-7-1. I mean, I know that NFC East is good, but the Vikings played the NFC East this year. I just think they get no respect at all. The odds makers had Green Bay above the Vikings, Tampa, Green Bay, the Chargers above the Vikings to win the Super Bowl odds. The Packers weren't even in the playoffs yet, and the odds makers had the Packers as a better bet to win the Super Bowl. I'm like, man, the Vikings still are plus 3,000. It's like plus 3,000 to win the Super Bowl. 13-4. If the planets align and San Fran somehow Geno the man comes out, Geno Smith, and he burns them just for some crazy thing, the Vikings are going to have a second home game, and they'll play Tampa or Dallas at home.
The Vikings are playing. The Vikings are going. If they beat the Giants, which they should, if they beat the Giants, they go to San Fran.
Yeah, if San Fran wins. But if San Fran loses, the Vikings will play Tampa, Dallas at home. One of those guys. I know it's wishful thinking, but weirder things have happened. You know, come on. That's all it takes is like McCaffrey or Bosa or Kittle, you know, when they're walking into the stadium with their outfits on, and it's a big thing about walking down the tunnel with their outfits. And one of those guys slips down on that cement, the slippery cement, and goes down. It's it. You know, because these guys are sometimes it's like a fashion show down there, and they're more into that. Like especially McCaffrey, because he does photo shoots with GQ and everything. It's not a set thing. Don't count Geno Smith out.
I'm counting him out.
Don't count that guy out. He's a gunslinger from West Virginia. That guy's good. He was just as good as Lamar Jackson in college.
He's not going to get any time.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
All right. Okay. I don't want to. I get my blood pressure's going through the roof right now about the Vikings, because before I talked to you, this is the first time I talked to you about it. Those people on TV were getting me pissed.
Listen, you make valid points. Like I'm not a big Vikings guy. I don't think they're that good, but you make extremely valid points. So I got to give it to you. You know, you articulated, you know, your reasons, and it's hard to argue with those. So okay, plus 3,000 is ridiculous.
All right, let's go on to the Cowboys BUCS.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys are very similar to the Vikings. I think they're a very similar team. They were 12-5 this year, and I mean 12-5 is an excellent record considering the schedule they played. They played the Bengals early, Tampa Bay. They played the Rams early on before we knew that the Rams sucked.
Mm-hmm.
All these teams. They played the Vikings, the Packers. So they played a tough schedule. They're 12-5, but when you look at their losses. When you look at the last 2 games of the year,
like the Vikings,
they're terrible. Like the Vikings. They're like the Vikings. So now the same thing with the Cowboys. They're going into this playoff game, and they're playing a team that was 8-9. The BUCS are no good. Tampa Bay's not good, but
they're 9-8, right?
No, 8-9.
Yeah. No, they won that last game and made them 9-8.
Oh, I thought they lost they lost to the Falcons.
Oh, that's right. They did. Keep talking. Let me check that, because why am I thinking 9-8? Keep going.
Okay, so they're 8-9, right? Now, everybody thinks the Cowboys are getting killed, you know, for good reason. Dak's thrown an interception in 7 games in a row. He's thrown a pick 6 in 3 out of the last 4 games. And if you watch him play, he's even worse than the numbers. He's throwing, you're like, oh my God, where's he throwing it? Like he's so bad right now. So the Cowboys and the Vikings are actually almost identical teams. Great records, good regular season. The Cowboys had a lot of good wins, but at the end of the year, when you watch the Cowboys play the last few weeks, you're saying to yourself, there's no way this team can win. So all the experts are saying there's no way they can win. I don't know who's going to win that game. I don't think Tampa Bay's any good.
No, you're right. They did get beat by the Falcons. They're 8-9. And this is another thing I want to talk about with the division winner below 500. A division winner below 500, the Dallas Cowboys should be getting a home game. This is baloney.
But the other thing is this. Sean Payton said it best because, Sean Payton does one of these shows now. He said that they were the wild card years ago. They were 11-5 years ago, right? The New Orleans was a wild card. So they had to go up to Seattle because Seattle won the division. They were 7-9. Seattle kicked their ass.
Yeah.
And he said that was no 7-9 team. Like, they kicked their ass. The Cowboys are going into Tampa Bay. No, they're 8-9. I guarantee you they're not going to be an 8-9 team on Monday night. They're getting Carlton Davis back. They're getting Vita Vea back. They might be getting their center, Ryan Jensen, back. They're getting their Tristan Wirfs back. I don't know if the Cowboys are rolling into town and facing an 8-9 team. So they might get their asses kicked.
They played in that terrible division, too. You think their record, they could have eked out like a little bit of a better record than 8-9. I know what you're saying. Dallas is hot like the Vikings. When they're hot, forget about it. And it's gonna, and the Vikings could probably, I think the Vikings got a better shot to get hot because they're home. I think Dallas is gonna have a problem. And I tell you right now, you know what they're gonna be doing in Tampa? You know what they're doing like probably today, tomorrow, Sunday? They got the maintenance guys out there and they're drenching the field. They're drenching that field. They're going to water that field down to the quagmire.
You know why they're watering the field? Because they're not watering the field to slow down the Cowboys' offense. They're watering the field to slow down the Cowboys' pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys can't get to the quarterback on grass fields.
They're going to do that.
Because their defensive line is quickness. And when you water the field down and you make the field mushy, those defensive linemen can't get around those big tackles. They're not going to get to Brady.
And we can't count the first game of the season. That when the BUCS beat, can we count that game?
Why can't I don't understand? Why can't we count that game?
I don't know. It seemed like that. I don't know if you can count.
It was 19-3. Why can't we count it?
I guess we got to count it, but Tampa definitely wants to let you count it. They got to have it.
My prediction with the Cowboy game, my prediction is it's going to be 13-13 or 14-13. And it's going to come down to the final minutes, and someone's going to have the ball trying to drive for a winning field goal. That's the Cowboys game is going to be that. No one's going to score a lot, and someone's going to be 16-17. Someone's going to be trying to kick a winning field goal late in the game. The Vikings game, it could be, the Vikings. You never know. They could be winning 23-0 at halftime. You never know with that team, or they could be losing. Like, you never know.
But those are I love those two games. Those were the two games we wanted to really get into it because I'm a big Viking fan. You got your dad as a Giant fan. We're from New York originally. And the Cowboys-Bucks, I really think is a premier game. I think that game could end up being a good game no matter what the score is. And I understand what you're saying about the Cowboys with the Vikings. There are comparisons. The quarterbacks, too, even though everybody thinks Dak Prescott's unbelievable, I think the quarterbacks, too, are very similar.
Awful this year. He's awful.
I don't know if he's much better than Cousins. So I know they're America's team and they're very popular and everything, but Tom Brady's Tom Brady. And at the end of the day, going down to Tampa, going down to meet him. If the game was in Dallas, it might be a little different. But those two games, because real quick, let's just go through the other games fast. I don't think these other games are really anything. I mean, the Niners, Seattle, I'm hoping Geno Smith has a switchblade. I'm hoping Geno Smith is like a guy from the old neighborhood, and he comes out with a switchblade, and he cuts somebody or something, and they win that game. I know they're not going to win it. I know.
That game's nothing. The Buffalo Miami Dolphins game is nothing because Miami doesn't.
Yeah, no Tua. It's a joke.
The other thing is Miami's got that goofy little coach. I don't like that guy. What's his name? Mike McDonald. What's his name?
I don't know. I don't like that guy. I don't like him.
I don't like him. He's weird on the sidelines. He says they interview him after the first quarter, and he says, "Oh, we have a great relationship with the referees." Man, shut up.
McDaniel. He's Irish. He's another Irish guy. Yeah. McDaniel.
He's weird. Like I don't know. He's not an NFL coach. He's like he looks. I don't know. He looks like the equipment kid. I don't get him.
He looks like one of those kids. those young kids, like the millennial kids that get the box delivered of their clothes. You know how you can get a box of clothes and you pick the shirt. They help you pick the shirt and the pants and the shoes and the glasses. And and you get that sent to your house and you put it on and you go out. And what happens is there's 50 million other guys on the street with the same outfit because they just send the outfit out to 50 million different guys who are like you. I don't like him either. You know, I don't like him, and I don't like the Chargers coach. I think they're both the same.
No, I don't like that guy either. That guy's terrible.
Don't trust that guy.
The Chargers coach does everything he can to lose the game. Like, he's the worst.
He's like the little skinny Ron Rivera. He's the little skinny Riverboat Ron.
Terrible.
He takes so many chances. That guy gambles on so many things. That guy.
It's the most. They're on his own 20-yard line. He's like, let's go for it.
Let's go for it. What are you, crazy? So the Niners, the Niners are better. They're better. The Bills, without Tua, that's not a game. Cincy, now let's talk about Joe Cool. That's not a game either, because no Lamar Jackson, that game's over too.
Yeah, they're going to kill that.
I mean, these games are terrible, those games.
Well, they should be terrible. There should be some blowouts in the playoffs. I mean, come on.
That's why they put the Vikings in the middle on Sunday, because
they have a great time slot there.
Yeah, and they did that to break up the two crap games.
Yeah.
Because those two games are going to suck, and then the Saturday game, the first game's going to suck, and then let's talk about the Chargers in Jacksonville. You got Trevor Lawrence, who looks like Caitlyn Jenner, or he looks like your mom's best friend. Like, he's like your mom's female best friend, that Trevor Lawrence. He looks like Caitlyn Jenner. I always said.
He's come of age, though. He's good now. He's really good. And the other thing is, the Jaguars got a great coach, Doug Peterson. Yeah,
no, he's good. He's won a Super Bowl. He's tested.
The Vikings screwed up. They should have hired that guy. Peterson, they messed up. That guy's a great coach. I'm sorry.
He's good. He's good, and he's won a Super Bowl. I
love that coach because Peterson's teams, the second team I've seen it, they always attack. They're always on the attack. When they got the ball, they're always like pushing the defense, trying to stretch the defense. On defense, they're always coming after the quarterback. His teams attack. Like, the other teams don't. Like, those other teams are not always attacking. Like, there's something about Doug Peterson.
You like that?
He's a coach.
Well, what's his face? What's that running back? How do you say his name? Eteni?
Yeah.
How do you say his name, that guy?
ETN.
Yeah, he's from Clemson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew when they picked that guy that it was a right move. That guy, watching him at Clemson, that guy's tough. He's an unbelievable running back, that guy.
What they did was, in the offseason, they picked up Evan Ingram from the Giants, and they put him at like some tight end wide receiver position, and he's really good.
Yep.
They picked Zay Jones from the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. They got Marvin Jones, right? And then they picked up Christian Kirk from the Cardinals. They picked up a bunch of wide receivers, and they push him down the field. They push him, or they throw those passes where they're cutting across the middle, where they catch it in full speed.
Mm-hmm.
He attacks you. That guy, like what he did to the Cowboys, when the Cowboys were up by 14 points, he attacked that Cowboys team. It was incredible to watch. He overwhelmed them in that game.
I love that coach. I like the team. I just bust Trevor Lawrence's chops because when he takes that helmet off and his hair flows, it's either Fabio or Caitlyn Jenner. But the thing is, and against the Chargers, I like them because they're home, and the Chargers. I think he's good. But Mike Williams is out. If Mike Williams' back is hurt, and I think it's his back, if Mike Williams is out and it's only Keenan Allen and little running back, he's awesome.
Because they were playing in a game that didn't matter against Denver, last game of the year, and he had Mike Williams in the game in the fourth quarter.
Yes. He's got those guys in. The game definitely didn't matter. I forgot about that. The game definitely didn't matter. He's playing. Those guys, and Williams gets hurt. And didn't someone else get hurt? It was Williams and another guy got hurt too. Wasn't it Bosa? Bosa.
What's his name? Brandon Staley?
Yes. Yeah.
That's the name of my junior high school.
Yeah. That's him. He's terrible, this guy. No, Bosa got hurt. Bosa got hurt too.
Yeah, Bosa's been hurt all year.
He's been hurt all year. So why? Okay, so you got to explain this to me. I can't understand it. He's making a lot of money. He's the coach. Regardless of his crazy, gambling, weird stuff, how he goes for it on fourth down on their own 20 all the time. He's crazy. Like, I know you got 4 downs, and I know there's a lot of coaches that believe in that, but I just think he's all over the place when he does that. Now, regardless of that, why would you play those guys in that game that there is nothing?
Because this coach, it seems like he prides himself on going against the grain. He's just trying to be different. He's like, oh, I'm supposed to pull my starters now, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do what the status quo. I'm not going to do what all the other coaches does. I'm supposed to punt on my own 30-yard line on 4th and 1. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be different than everyone else. It's not hard to be different in the NFL because everybody follows suit in the NFL. It's a copycat league and has been for decades, right? When the 49ers unveiled the West Coast offense back in the 80s, everybody did it. Like, it's not hard to be different, So if you're going to watch what everyone else does and say, oh, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to do something different. And we can tell that that's the only reason you're doing it because his team isn't even good on 4th and 1. They're not like a great running team. They don't have a great running run block offensive line. There's nothing special about them. There's no reason to be going for it every time on 4th down. You don't have that kind of offense.
No, Eckler gets open on runs because everyone's scared of him going on a screen. Like he's
good, but I'm saying though, when it's like the best team when it's 4th and 1 are the Eagles because they have that rugby scrum play that they invented.
Yeah,
where they bring the tackle in and they bring the guy and then they the whole team, the whole 11 guys pushes the pile.
Well, and Hurts has got strong legs.
That's a perfect offense for that play.
Yeah.
The Chargers don't have that. So I could see the Eagles going for it on 4th and 1 all over the field. At least they have a play that's the indefensible or undefensible. The Chargers don't have that. They got this goofy, weird coach that just keeps going, I'm going to be different. Like, get out of here with your different. It's not going to be
he screwed. That was really stupid. Like, again, I just don't get what these guys are doing. So Williams might be out. Bosa, I don't know if he's out, but Williams, he may not play. So regardless, they know that Williams are done, and he's going to take chances anyway during that game because he's going to get in scenarios with the Jags because the Jags are going to press them on defense, on offense. I don't see the Jags losing that game. And now again, this is the thing. I'm going to say this about the Chargers. That's why they don't really have any fans over there in LA. Even the Rams don't get really a great crowd, but the Chargers, it's going to be again another year. Like, I'm a Viking fan, but it's going to be another year that Hebert's like so great. They're so great. They're going to be great. Super Bowl, and it's such. Huh?
His name isn't Heber. His name is Herbert.
Herbert, yeah. And it's gonna be the same thing. Same thing. It's always the same thing. It's a bunch of baloney. Those guys get so much respect. The people love the Chargers. Love the Chargers. Chargers.
I don't know why.
They're gonna lose that game.
Yeah.
They're gonna win that game.
They're gonna lose.
Because I'll tell you right now, that Staley guy will get outcoached. He'll get outcoached. Like, no way. There's no way.
Staley is his name. His name's Staley, though, right? Not Stanley, right? It's Staley.
Staley. I think it's Staley, like your junior high name. Let me look it up.
Staley, yeah.
It doesn't matter anyway. He's going to be gone after this week. And they'll keep him, though. They'll keep him.
Oh, no, they're going to try to get Sean Payton.
This guy. Where is this guy? Where is he? They don't even talk about him here. Yeah, Staley.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's another one. They should put him together with the Miami coach.
Yeah.
They should put those guys together with Mike McCarthy.
You know what, buddy? You know who's a great coach? You know who did a great job this year? That Dan Campbell in Detroit, man. That guy did a great job.
That guy. I want to play for that guy.
They were 2-6. They were 2-6, and everyone thought, the same old Lions. They ended up 9-8. That's a good coach right there, man.
I'll tell you now. If I could run like a 40 and 4.2 at my age and still play in the NFL, I'd play for that guy. That guy, when I watch that guy, I go, geez, I want to go play. I get all pumped up watching them play, even when they play the Vikings. And I'm like, I'd like to go get some shoulder pads on and go play this guy. You want to play for this freaking guy?
Green Bay, the last game of the year, both 8-8. The Lions are eliminated from the playoffs when the Seahawks won the game earlier in the day, and they still kicked the freaking Packers' ass. That team comes to play you.
All right. So look at.
All right, but you know what?
Wait. Real quick, I got to do my six-pack, senior six-pack. This is Bookie Beatdowns, sponsored by your old bookie, who you don't even need the bookie anymore, because we got casinos, we got apps, legal apps in New York, Illinois, wherever you go. So you know your old bookies. I don't even know where. I had an old bookie once. His name was Bozo. That was his name. No one would tell me his real name. His name was Bozo.
Well, I had the young bookie in Rome, New York. I went to bet, like I tried to bet like Oklahoma. I tried to bet like Oklahoma State, and he took the bet for Oklahoma, and the Oklahoma game was already over.
He took it. What a knucklehead! And he never caught it.
I called him up and I said, like, I want $200 at Oklahoma State, because they were playing in New York. They were playing at 10:30 at night. They were playing on the West Coast, right? And he goes, okay, $200 in Oklahoma. And I said, an Oklahoma game already ended. Oklahoma game was over. It was over.
Oh,
and
goes,
I got $200. And then there was like a long pause on the phone. And I said, yeah, that's it. And so I hung up, and then I already won the bet. I bet a game that was over.
See, that never happens now. I mean, that's like because
I bet a game that was over. Like, no one in their lives have ever been able to bet a game that was already over.
God, that guy screw up a free lunch. Okay, so we gotta do our picks. This is the Bookie Beatdown segment.
Tuesday, I went and collected my money.
I can't believe it. And he never caught it.
I went to the pizza place and collected my money.
And if you didn't have the money, they put your head in the pizza oven.
Yeah, but how could I not have the money? The game was over. How could I lose?
All right, so Bookie Beatdown bets, sponsored by us, Old Men in Sweats. So tell me, you want to give a couple picks or one or two picks, and I'll give my senior six-pack.
Are you going to see your six-pack?
Yep.
So what?
All right, I'm going to go. I'll go senior six-pack. Now, usually I like to pick 3 games, and I pick the teams and usually the money lines, and then unless the line's really high, I know no one wants to lay so much money when the line's really high, and then I bet the over-unders. But I don't see these games this way. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to bet. I got 6 bets, and then you can put them together however you want. You put them in 16 parlay, individually, you know, a 14 parlay, however you people out there want to do it. All right. I'm going to take the 49ers minus 10 points. And I'm not going to do money line because it just costs too much. And anyone out there betting, most people, they wouldn't have the cash or want to invest the cash in San Fran money line. So I'm going to go minus 10. And I'm going to go the Jags. Get this. The Chargers are minus 1.5. So I'm going to take the Jags plus the 1.5. I mean, you got to be kidding me. I'm just going to take it. I take the money line on that game. Then I'm going to take the Bills minus 13.5. Now, all you people out there, if you can buy a half point to get rid of the hook, you don't want that hook on there on that 13.5 just for safekeeping. So buy it down to 13 on the Bills. So that's 4, right? Then I'm going to take Tom Brady. I'm going to take our fellow old man, Tom Brady. Dallas is minus 2.5. I'm going to play it. I'm going to add a half a point. I'm going to buy a half a point and take Buccaneers plus 3.
Okay.
So that's 1, 2.
How much does it cost you to buy the half a point, though?
Like another dime, $10. You know, like on 110, it'd be like probably 120, maybe 125. It's worth it. Okay. So I got the Buccaneers plus 3. I'm going to take the Bills minus 13. I'm going to take the 49ers minus 10. I'm going to take the Jags plus the 1.5. That's 4 bets. And I'm going to take the over in the Viking game. That game's going over.
Oh, wow.
And then I can't take that Bengals game. It's minus 9.5.
No.
It's a little crazy. And I can't take the over in the 49er game. And I can't take the over in the Bengal game. And the Dallas game, like you said, there's going to be people betting that game over, that Dallas-Tampa game. Yeah. I don't know about that.
Listen, the reason you can't take the over in the San Francisco game is because there's a chance that Seattle won't score.
Yeah.
They might not score.
Well, and there's a chance for a monsoon. It's been raining like crazy up there and down in LA and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, so that game may be a low scoring game. So, okay, my last game, I'm going to take the Bills and Dolphins over. That's going to be my iffy one. I'm going to take the Bills and Dolphins over.
I like that. I like
because
that.
I think the Bills are going to get way up, and I think it's 43.5. I'd buy it down to 43. And I think the Bills are going to score like crazy, and then Miami will just get junk points. So I got 49ers minus 10, Jags plus 1.5, Vikings over, Bills minus 13, Bills over, and then the Buccaneers and Tom Terrific plus 3. That's my senior six-pack. It's all over the place, so it's kind of confusing, not my usual. So what do you like on there? Like, what would you anoint on that?
Well, I think that the Niners are going to dominate Seattle, even though that's a division game, and division games you're supposed to stay away from. I don't see Seattle going into San Francisco and stopping that Niners offense. So I love that. I love that game. Right? I would stay away from the Cincinnati Ravens game because that's also a divisional game, but that's a little different. The Ravens usually are tough. They're usually mentally tough. So, so maybe they could keep that game really, really close. I don't know. So I would that's a game I'd stay away from. And then the hardest game to pick to me is Tampa Bay and the Cowboys. The Cowboys haven't won a road playoff game in 30 years, right? They haven't beaten Tom Brady. They're 0-7. They've never beat Todd Bowles, the coach of the Tampa Bay. They're 0-2. He beat him in New York, and he beat him this year in Tampa Bay. The Cowboys have all these trends going against them. I mean, they haven't won a road playoff game in 30 years. So that's the toughest game to pick, But the Cowboys are giving up 2.5 also.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even if the Cowboys win that game, they're going to win by 1 point. That's the hardest game. I would stay away from that game. Like you can't pick the Cowboys. You can't pick the Vikings. You don't know what's going to happen. The pick of the day is San Francisco and Buffalo. Like those are the picks of the day. Buffalo's playing against Skylar Thompson. I mean,
who's that? Sounds like some 8th grader.
He's the
Skylar Thompson. Sounds like it's like a kid in 8th grade in middle school. It's like this, like it's Skylar Thompson. There he is. It's like a little middle school kid. I don't know. All the girls love him. What is this?
That's hilarious.
All the girls are like looking at him. They got goo eyes for Skylar Thompson. But you know what's funny about what you're doing? You're doing something that takes a lot of huevos. Your 2 games that you say are the best bets are the ones you got to lay the points.
You got to lay the points. Yeah. Or here's the other thing. Do the money line. I know. What is it? Minus 440?
Okay, the 49ers are minus 475 to win 100.
Minus 475. So, so drop 2,000 down. You win $400.
And the Bills is probably around the same. Let's see. The Bills. Oh, no. The Bills is minus 900.
Yeah, I mean, so you're basically 1,000 to make 100.
You know who makes bets like that? That Mattress Mike. That Mattress Mike would make those bets. He'd make money line bet on 49ers and the Bills.
Is there any way that Mike McDonald, that goofy coach of the Dolphins, and Skylar Thompson, the 8th grade middle school quarterback, is going to go up to Buffalo and win that game?
Nope.
And I think Tyreek Hill got hurt the last game.
Yeah, Tyreek's not 100% either.
Yeah.
So that ain't gonna work out. So you would take those. So you would take 2 of my bets, of my 6 senior 6-pack bets. 2 of them you would take.
I would take, but I would take him only if I had a bundle of cash, and I would do the money line. Like I would drop, I dropped 10,000 on the Bills, 5,000 on the Niners, you're not going to get a big bang for your buck, but you're going to win your money.
Yeah.
Bills.
I completely agree.
Another thing, buddy, the referees would never let the Dolphins win up there. They're going to call more phantom pass interference penalties in Buffalo's favor. There's no way.
Now, I want to ask you one more question in this betting segment, because I wanted to talk a lot about the sports TV personalities, but we're going to talk next week about them, because there's a lot you and I want to rant about. But who would Stephen A. pick?
Well, he'll pick the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He hates the Cowboys.
Yeah, he'll pick the.
Stephen A's famous line with the Cowboys is, "What can go wrong will go wrong." That's the greatest line.
And Skip Bayless will pick who?
Oh man, I can't stand him.
Dallas.
Skip Bayless is supposedly a Cowboys fan, but he loves Tom Brady, so he'll pick Brady to beat the Cowboys.
Get out of here! You don't think he'll pick the Cowboys?
No, because Skip Bayless is he's off Dak Prescott, completely off Dak Prescott.
Oh my God!
He'll pick Tampa Bay.
And who's Shannon going to pick? Shannon Sharp.
Oh, Shannon hates the Cowboys. He's picking Tampa Bay too.
Is there anybody else you think he'd like in any of those other games? Like he'd have any favorites in any of those other games? He likes Joe Burrow, so he probably he likes Joe Burrow.
They all love Joe Burrow.
They all love him. But now, what about Colin Cowherd? I love Colin Cowherd. You hate him.
No, Colin Cowherd.
I love him
all the time. I remember a couple years ago, he was running down by the Indy Colts are the best organization in football. He says they got a stable ownership, they got a great GM, they got an excellent head coach and a good quarterback. He's an idiot. They didn't have any of the four.
I love him. I think his delivery is awesome, and he's got such a smooth voice. It's like such a nice smooth voice. It's so easy to listen to.
Smooth voice. He sounds like.
I like him.
Like European culture, social study teachers, and what smooth voice. He's terrible.
I'd let him adopt me right now.
Good. What's that?
I'd let him adopt me, even though I'm old. I'd go live right with him. I love that guy. I think he's great. The other guys, I don't like them so much because they're arguing all the time back and forth. But anyway, we'll talk more about this because there's a lot going on in the sports TV personality business. Now we got to leave, but we gotta just say one thing. The Raiders. Let's just talk Raiders wrap. That's our segment we used to do with the Raiders. Obviously, this would be the last one, but that's all I got to say about it. It's a wrap. There's so much bad to talk about. I don't even care anymore. I don't care even next year anymore. I think Derek Carr got screwed.
Well, he's gone.
I know he got screwed. Yeah. They blamed him, and it's Josh McDaniel, and they blamed him.
No, it's not. It's not Josh McDaniel, and it's not the guy Ziegler, the GM. What happened with the Raiders is they had all those draft picks from trading Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack and all their players. They had all those draft picks, and they swung and missed on everyone, like everyone except Josh Jacobs. He's the only one.
I just don't understand why Carr. I know 9 years he's been there.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, like the team had defensive problems, issues.
They don't hate Carr. The problem with Carr is if they're going to keep him, they have to pay him $30 million. So the way they're going to rebuild their team is quarterback. They like Carr. It's not that they think he stinks, but they can't afford to pay a quarterback $30 million while they're rebuilding the roster because the roster has been decimated. When
would they owe him that money?
What?
When would they owe him? Like, if he stayed through the season, how much would it have cost them?
No, they paid. He's got a contract. He's got some unique contract where they can get out at the end of this year.
Okay.
So they're going to cut him. They're going to basically cut him unless they can trade him. They can cut him and not have a big cap hit. So they have to cut him.
So why didn't they just wait, though? And let him. I don't know. Isn't it the right thing to do? Maybe the guy's been there 9 years. He's given his heart and soul.
Do him a favor. He must be happy about it. I mean, he's got to want to get out of there anyway. Why does he want to stay there? There's no future with this team. They don't have any talent. They got the.
I don't know. It just seemed like a bad way to let him go. Like he had a post on Instagram of goodbye to all the Raider fans. It's like, Couldn't they just like let him play one down and then let him walk out?
$150 million. I mean, I'm not too sad for him. He's fine. He's good. He's gonna end up in New York with the Jets. Are you kidding? He's gonna end up in Miami with the Dolphins. He's gonna end up with a way better team.
I like him. I'm gonna root for him because I still think they could have just kept him and then let him go after the season. They could have let him, told him they were going to do it and then let him play a one down and take a knee and then let him out and everybody could clap. I just think he deserved a little more than what they gave him. I know it's a business. I just think so.
Right.
And at the end of if it was his brother, I'd say, just cut him. Yeah, his brother, he's better than his brother. His brother. Every time I watch his brother on NFL Network, I go, whatever. I don't. Come on. I mean, there's more trust in what I'm saying.
Right, look,
I mean,
buddy,
come on.
I got to roll though, right? I mean,
All right. So that's okay. So good show, Tommy T. That's it, Sweaties.
Great.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Remember to watch and listen on your podcast platforms and YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. And remember, subscribe to their social media and YouTube page at Old Men in Sweats. And remember this, and always remember this, all you youngins and all you old people out there, remember that we get this from our uncles at PTI. We won't try harder next time. So, Tommy?
So don't even ask.
Don't even ask. All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Las Vegas, stay sweaty. Tommy, good show. There was a lot of information.
It was great.
It
was fun.
It's so much information.
Buddy, you were way more fired up than normal today, man. It was excellent. A great show, man. I'll see you.
Well, after I ate the sub.
Yeah.
Once I got that sub, that turkey, the protein of the turkey in me, forget it. Look out.
All right, buddy. Take care, man.
All right. Take care, Tommy T. Talk to you next week. Adios, everybody. Woo! You like that? You like that? You like that? You like that?